Welcome to Finding Your Next Role in FinTech, a 5-part series that flips the script on job hunting. We're moving from open to work badges to here's why you'd be crazy not to talk to me. Over the next 5 weeks, you'll learn a framework that transforms your entire approach to finding a job in FinTech, whether you're hunting for permanent work or fractional opportunities. This is FinTech Chatter, brought to you by Tier 1 People, the leaders in executive search for FinTech. Good day and welcome. I'm your host, Dexter Cousins. I've been recruiting for over 25 years, and during that time, I've helped thousands of people find their next role. In this series, I'm going to share with you my secrets of the trade and give you a glimpse into how executive search works, the hidden job market, and give you the tools to help you find a job fast. But I need to start this episode by telling you something that might sting a little bit. Most of you are doing job hunting completely backwards. You're asking the wrong questions and you're competing on the wrong battlefield. And the sad thing is you're probably leaving millions of dollars in untapped value on the table without even knowing it. Well, today we're smashing the conventional job hunt playbook, and I'm going to show you a framework that transforms you from please hire me to here's the problem I solve, here's the value I create, and here's why you'd be crazy not to talk to me. This is episode 1 of our 5-part series, Finding Your Next Role in FinTech. And trust me, if you get this right, your next career conversation will never feel the same again. Let's go. Before we dive into what actually works, let's be honest about why the traditional approach is broken. You know the script. It's New Year's Day, and you sit down, either with a mate over coffee, or worse, you scroll through LinkedIn, and the first question is, what are you looking for in your next role? You'll say things like, I want to work somewhere that values innovation, or I want a company with great culture, or the absolute classic, I just want a role that makes me happy. Here's the thing. There might be nice aspirations, but nobody is interested, and they're absolutely useless for actually landing your next gig. Why? Because you're thinking about the job hunt from your perspective, and not from the perspective of the person who's actually hiring. Think about this. When a fintech company has a pain point, maybe their compliance process is costing them $500,000 a year in operational drag, or they've lost a major client because their product roadmap stalled, or they're bleeding headcount because their tech stack is a nightmare. They don't sit around hoping someone applies who values innovation. They need somebody who solves their problems. They need somebody who has already fixed that exact thing. And here's where most of you are losing before you even start. You're applying for jobs like you're hoping to get picked. It's like playing the lottery with your career. But the market doesn't work that way anymore, and it's never worked that way in FinTech. Instead, you need to position yourself like a solution to a problem. And the only way to do that is to understand with absolute clarity what problems you actually solve. So let's flip this completely. Instead of asking, what do I want? We're going to ask, what are the big problems I solve? And here's the critical part. We're not talking about vague skills. We're not talking about, I'm a good communicator or I'm detail-oriented. We're talking about concrete, specific business problems that you've already solved. Problems that caused enough pain that someone paid you to fix them. Problems that, when they're left unsolved, keep founders and execs awake at night. Here are some real examples. You might be someone who has implemented AI solutions that reduced operational headcount by 3 people, saving approximately $300,000 per year. Over a 5-year period, that's $1.5 million in value creation alone. Process optimization through intelligent automation. That's a concrete problem you solve. Or maybe you're someone who won a major client that generated $5 million in annual recurring revenue. But here's the thing, once that client signed, competitors saw what was happening and got FOMO. So now you've got $20 million in ARR flowing in from that win in the copycat business it created. You're not just a salesperson, you're a growth catalyst. Or maybe it's fixing a broken product market fit situation. You came in, you rebuilt the go-to-market strategy, you repositioned the offering, and suddenly the sales cycle compressed from 9 months to 3 months. Or maybe it's building teams from scratch. You've hired and scaled 5 different engineering teams, and 90% of the people you hired are still with the company 3 years later. You're not just a CTO, you're a builder of high-performing organizations. These are the types of problems that I've helped people discover and uncover from their experience. The moment you can articulate these with specificity and numbers, you've fundamentally changed the conversation. Now, when you're talking to someone in a hiring position, you're not asking them to take a chance on you. You're not asking them to give you a job. You're saying, I've solved this exact problem before. Here's what it looked like. Here's what it cost to fix. And here's what I'm worth. So this is where it gets really powerful. What I want you to do before we do anything else is something that I call a career balance sheet. And I mean that literally. Think of it like a financial statement of your career. On one side, you're going to map out every role that you've had, and for each role, you're going to identify 2 categories: problems you fixed and the value you created. Now let me walk you through how this works. First category, problems you fixed. These are the things that were broken when you arrived. Maybe the department had no process for onboard. Maybe the sales team had no CRM discipline. Maybe the tech debt was so bad that feature development took twice as long as it should. You came in, you fixed it, write it down. Second category, value you created. This is a bit trickier because it requires you to think in business owner terms. But this is where the real gold is. Let's say you implemented a new process that reduced time to onboard a client from 90 days to 30 days. What's the value of that? Well, if each client is worth $1 million in ARR, you're talking about $165,000 in additional revenue. If the implementation team has monthly employment costs of $100,000, that's an additional $200,000. All up, for each new client, you're making the business an additional $365,000. Maybe you've got an example of revenue. You won a deal. You built a product feature that opened a new market segment. Whatever it is, put numbers to it and always make sure there's a dollar sign or a percentage sign attached to it. Here's a practical framework for your balance sheet. You can set up a spreadsheet if you like, but I prefer just to keep things simple. On the left side of the sheet, you're going to have things like your role title, company, industry, number of years you're on the role, team size. In the middle, you're going to put the problems you fixed, what was broke. And on the right side, we're going to put value created. What new revenue did you influence? What costs did you eliminate? What processes did you improve? What teams did you build? Again, put a dollar figure on each one. Be conservative if you need to, but be specific. And then, this is crucial, add them up. Now, like any other accounting, you're not just going to factor in this year, but multiply that over 5 years, 10 years. What is the value that you've created for the business? Now, most people who do this exercise have absolutely no idea what their actual impact has been. You'll probably find you've created somewhere between 5 million and 50 million in cumulative value over your career. So here's why this framework matters right now. The job market in FinTech is shifting. We've got burnout at epidemic levels. Candidates are exhausted, and the conventional job hunt, the one where you're competing on how well you write a CV and how much you smile in an interview, that's exactly the wrong place to be. But the moment you shift to this framework, something changes. You're no longer one of 1,000 applications for a job posting. You're a specific solution to a specific problem. You become remarkably rare, remarkably valuable, and remarkably hireable. So what should you do next? Well, this balance sheet, that's your foundation. In episode 2, we're going to take that foundation and we're going to map it against the specific problems that companies in FinTech are actually facing right now. We're going to show you how to research and identify which companies have the exact pain points you solve. We're going to move from general value creation to targeted value creation. And trust me, once you've done that work, your entire job search transforms. If you found this valuable, Please make sure you subscribe to us, FinTech Chatter TV on YouTube, or make sure you follow us on your favorite podcast player. And please share it with anyone in FinTech who's considering a career move. Make sure to come back next week for episode 2. I've been Dexter Cousins. You can find me on LinkedIn. And until the next episode, keep well